Okay, it appears that I have some vocals, so we are recording. This is the screencast for April the 19th for BISS 1123 Section A. And as I have peppered you with emails and announcements and so forth, you are aware, of course, that I have several doctor's appointments today. And so I'm squeezing one in here before I have to leave. And this screencast is going to be fairly typical of what we'll see from here on out. And I'm going to go to the modules section, excuse me. We'll find those. And we'll go over to the modules. And we are at week 11, and so I'm going to find that. I'll look for my find box, Control F, and I'm not seeing it. That's strange. All right. There's always something. So let's scroll down here. I didn't see the Control F box, so we're going to go on down here. And we're at week 11. All right. We will talk about where we are today. Of course, this is week 11, and this is the screencast for the 19th. As I told you, I won't be able to do the live screencast. I've explained all of that. So this is what you should view. Now, we are in that phase of the program that we know that I call the flex time phase, and that is you have some major projects coming up as well as the final exams. And I like to stop at this point and give you the time. So there is no class time required at all. You have already uploaded all the work. We've already done all of the case assignments, the workshop assignments, and those should be all uploaded at this point for you. So we'll scroll on down here to week 12. And as I mentioned, there is no class meeting, just flex time. And what I will probably do is to come on for a very short time. Come on for a short video, usually 30, 45 minutes. I may go the full length so that I can be available for questions. And but for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to be live screencasting any new material. These access cases all should have been, these workshops, those should have been up. You should have uploaded those already. And here on week 13, there is no flex time at all. And again, I may come on and just simply do a short spiel to keep everybody on track. I am always available you can, if you have a question, you can email me. If you would want, I can certainly try to handle your question or set up a video conference with you. I probably will post as we get further into this. It's likely that I will post some virtual office hours. You're always welcome to contact me via email. And if it's something that's complicated, I can send you back the screencast. That's the beauty of this software and the flexibility that it gives us, and particularly for you. Now, let's talk about what you've got coming up. First is this XLS function paper. Now, again, here's what I'm after. I want you to provide me a Word document in which you have embedded screenshots or print screens that show me that you know how to use a Microsoft Excel function. I do not want anything simple like the sum or something like that. You're welcome to choose a function that you want to use. You could use a function that we used in one of the case studies, but I want to see proof that you know how to use it. I would like you to tell me why you chose it. I'd like you to tell me how it can be used and applied in a business setting. And then finally, I would like to see some references. So those are the things I'm after. If you go back and you see, at one point I was intended to have everybody do a formal paper and then require everybody to meet and do a presentation. And I'm just not going to do that. I really feel like that that the main thing is that you master that function, and you get enough presentations in other classes. So I'm not going to push anything of that sort. Now, I will say this. I would like you to, if you don't use a Word doc with print screens showing the use of your the Excel function you choose, then I'd like to see you do that with a PowerPoint. If you don't do, for me, if you don't do that, you can do the ideal, and that is upload a Microsoft Excel file, use the function, and insert text so I can see your narrative and I can see what you did. There are many, many resources out there. A first and primary resource would be the Solve It 6.0 textbook. Every one of the cases we did, we used some type of Microsoft function, Excel function. So you're welcome to use one of those case studies. If you want, you can go into the Microsoft Office toolbar, choose a function. And then you can get help. You can click help on using this function once you open up the dialog box. There are resources out there from YouTube, as I just mentioned, the information available and help available from Microsoft Office. So don't overthink this. Don't. I want to see your rationale for why you chose the function you chose, and then how the function works, and then how you would apply it, and then some references. So forget about the stuff about doing presentations or any of that. I toyed with the idea and I decided I just don't want to do it right now. Now, here is a second big assignment that you have, and this is the spatial analysis exercise. And you'll find, if you go into the files, I think you're going to find a rubric for the function paper that will give you some help. Here, you'll find instructions for the spatial analysis exercise over in the files section of Canvas. So you'll want to go over there and take a look. And you'll see that I'm going to I'm giving you a retail location, and I'm going to ask you to use Esri Tapestry, which I've shown you before, to get some data. You're going to use Google Earth, Google Maps. You're going to look at some layers. You're going to do a zoom in and zoom out. This is to get you thinking about these tools that we have for spatial analysis. If you're a marketing student, you especially need to be cued in on this, because you remember in marketing, one of the 4 P's is place. So you'll want to look at that. And I can tell you, I've been going back and doing some continuing education. It's all faculty are required to do, just about any university. I've taken several courses from Esri, which is a firm out in California, which is absolutely the top, where they are the company in the world in terms of having tools. And I'm going to have you use some tools from Google and from Esri that are open. They're easy to, in other words, they're free and they're easy to use. And so all you have to do is follow the steps for the assignment. And you can read those. And I don't see any big need in going through them. Of course, Access 5 and 6, we've already done those. So that's out of the way. That brings us then to finals week. And I have the final exam scheduled for this course. And we'll open it up here for a minute. And we meet, this is section A, so we meet from 12:30 to 1:45 on Tuesday, Thursday, which means our final exam is on Wednesday, May 16th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, let me say this. I may or may not be in the office in Shawnee at 8 o'clock in the morning. I may be monitoring things from here because, as you see, I also have another final exam that night at 6 o'clock. So it's quite likely I will simply be online and I'll have a link there for you to if you want to ask questions or anything of that nature. Let's talk about how you respond to the final exam now, and we'll talk about briefly what all it entails. My final exams typically have two parts. One part deals with some task or set of tasks, project, in which I ask you to do them, and they are due at the start of the final exam period. So the part one, it includes two things, working with Microsoft Access and working with Microsoft Excel. And I have some very specific directions about what I want you to do. Then parts 2, 3, and 4 are quizzes. They're 40 minutes each, hence 120 minutes, hence the 2 hours. I would not, if I were you, wait till that morning and try to take those 3 exams. You don't have to do all 3 of them at once. You may want to kind of chunk them as you go along because they are time limited. So if you, and again, they're 40 minutes. That doesn't mean you can stop after 20 minutes and go back and start where you began. When you stop an exam, you submit it, it is submitted. So you've heard it here. I've told you this. And if you didn't come in and listen, you have a problem. The other thing is this: these assignments, if you're off campus, particularly with these final exam quizzes, that part. If you're not on the OBU system and you have a technical problem, I have to tell you, I'm sorry, but you may not have been very smart. If I were you, I would do that work on the OBU system, either over at Bailey Business Center at the lab there, the lab at the library, or if you have your own desktop or laptop or tablet. Now, I want to talk about the project up here because almost every semester I end up with someone who sends me this thing and says, well, I don't have access. I don't have it. I own an app, or I don't have access on my computer. Folks, as you know, Bailey Business Center is a lab. That lab, Lab H, is reserved for you. You have every right. In fact, I would encourage you that on the Microsoft Access part of this, at the very least, you do your work over there. Now, you have flex time, so you can do that work anytime you want. And make sure that when you submit what you submit, you intended to do it. If I receive from somebody a file that's for another course, or it's a file that can't be opened, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. So make sure you know what you're uploading and make sure it's the appropriate thing. Now, I'm going to talk for just a couple of minutes about part one. And they say, see the instructions. So we'll go over to the files. And final exam. I'll just do this. And this is the final exam. I believe that's the instructions. Yes, these are the instructions for final exam part one. They're very explicit, but I'm just going to talk about them again. They're in the files section in Canvas. You should find a file. It's a CSV, a comma separated file called "How do we fix an app like that?" Now, if you don't find it in Canvas, then you can go over to the supplemental website for the course, and the link to that supplemental website is there. It is up there in the welcome module. Now, here's a link that will show you, let you become familiar with the app, learn a bit about it, and then there's a PowerPoint. And what you'll be doing is a sentiment analysis. Now, I'm going to ask you to create an Access database and then open the comma separated file. And you'll need to have the Access database opened and open it, put the name on it, and save it to your desktop. The comma separated file, how do you fix an app like that? The same story. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take that comma separated, the CSV, it means comma separated value file, and you're going to convert it to Microsoft Excel. And you can convert it through the Save As function. You're going to import that XLS file into the database. This is it. We've done this several times as we went through the Access cases, and so this shouldn't be unfamiliar territory. After you've imported that file, you're going to need to do some adjustments. You're going to make sure, particularly be careful about dealing with things that are numbers but might be treated as text. If it's a number, treat it as a number. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you to create some reports by running some queries. And when you've finished, you need to upload your Access file. And then you'll note here at point 14, I ask you to do some charting in the Excel file. So I'm going to ask you to upload the Excel file as well. Now, I've gone through this, I don't know now, probably half a dozen times, and over the coming weeks, I will, as I've said, there's no class time, but I'll be posting screencasts like this. So you're not going to be in a position to say, oh, I didn't know. Yes, I've shown you, I've gone through it. So that's final exam part one, in which you upload your Microsoft Access file with all the queries and reports in it, and the Microsoft Excel file, which started out as a comma separated value file, and then which you turned around and saved as Excel. And you will have done this pretty much summarizes what we've done in the course. And we've done imports of files and all that business, so you shouldn't have any real problem. You do have videos that you can go back and refer to. You have the Solve It 6.0 textbook as well. And I've gone through the import and the export procedure, the import procedures with you enough times, it shouldn't be a problem. And that's due at the start of the final exam period. Let's go back over to the, let me see if that, how do we fix that back that if it's over here. So I'm going to do here in Canvas files. I thought I put it over here. There it is. So it is here in Canvas files as well as at the supplemental website. Let's go back to the modules. So we've talked about the major assignments that are due. And as I've said, there will be many times as we end the course where I will just simply, I'll be online at that day and time. And I'll be there and I'll just briefly go through a run, give you another run through on what's due. In terms of these projects, the Excel function paper and the spatial analysis exercise, and then the final exam. And on those days, it's likely I will just simply stay here and be online if you have questions or problems. Of course, you can always email me if you have a question or problem, and I hopefully will be getting back to some type of semblance of a normal schedule. I have these appointments that get scheduled. Today on the 19th, I had an appointment at 2 o'clock, which meant I couldn't be over there and do 12:30, 11 to 1:45 and get to Norman in time. Then I had it morph on me into a couple of other, 2 more appointments. So I just have to do this. Now, the beauty of Zoom and the beauty of this format is you're not missing anything. And tonight, I'll be following the email if people have questions. Now, one final thing, I will be in Shawnee tomorrow, April the 20th. I put that in in the announcements. I will be there from 11:30 in the morning till 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening. That is ample time for you to come by and see me if you need to. I take a dim view of people who send me an email and say, I came by and you weren't there when I was there. Or who say, well, I had lunch, I had this, I had practice and that. I'm there. So if I take the time on Friday, which is usually the time I do for community service and for scholarly work that the university asks me to do, then my expectation is I'm going to have some people visit me and come by or send me an email. But this week, now on Friday, I will put in 5 office hours. On Monday, I put in 5 office hours. I put in 10 office hours. That's plenty of time. If you want to come to my office, you can find me. If you need an answer to a question, you can email me. What I don't like is someone who just writes me and says, I stopped by and you weren't there. Well, of course, because it wasn't one of my office hours. So I'm there and I'm available, and I'll be there from 11:30 till 4:30 or 5, and then we'll go to next week. Now, in the meanwhile, again, I want to make sure that you know, as I post these videos, as I go through these final projects, and I talk about the final exam and so forth, I'm not sure what else I can do for you to help you out with these projects. but they're due when they're due. And again, um, as I will do next week, uh, I'll do a short blurb again, reminding everybody of what's due in terms of the projects and what's coming up in terms of the final exam. You say, now, Dr. Harmon, are you saying that I could finish everything in turn before the final exam period is due? Absolutely. Certainly may. And I would encourage you to try to do that. But I'm going to say this also. If you don't have, for example, if you have a Mac, don't send me some lame email where you go, well, I only have a Macintosh, so I can't do this stuff. I'm sorry, you have a lab. You need to go to it. And if that means you go over there and work during class time, so be it. The labs are open till 10 o'clock at night. And so they're there and available for your use. So I don't believe that anybody really has any excuse to not turn in their work because they don't have the right kind of computer or they don't have access on their computer. So folks, that's your deal, and you need to use the resource that's there. Okay? Well, it's about 9:40, and I think I've been on here about 35 or 40 minutes. And of course, this is a pre-recorded session, as I told you that it would be. And I'm going to be, running around today, and I will be in Shawnee tomorrow, which will be Friday the 20th, from 11:30 to 4:30 or 5. Come Monday, I have a meeting. I have another one of these 10 o'clock meetings, which will probably mean that for the people in management science, I'll have to do a pre-recorded screencast for them because everybody's decided they want to schedule meetings at 10 in the morning on Monday. And now I'm just kind of saying that it's that course. Now I can tell you also, since this is a section A, that I have some good news and some bad news. I'll be posting just again reminders and some insights on the finals. Here's the bad news. On Thursday, the 26th, which is a week from today, I'm going to have to do another pre-recorded session because I have a doctor's appointment. And I can't get to the doctor's appointment and then get to Shawnee in time. But what I'll have to do is go to the doctor's appointment, and then I have to be over in Shawnee for a meeting that starts at 3:30. So I'm not sure how long I'll be at the doctor's appointment. These are things just kind of have cropped up and morphed on me. So it's likely that I'll do another pre-recorded session for everybody. But we're not covering any new material. I'm just kind of saying, okay, here's what's going on here, and it's more about the finals, just some coaching. And I know for sure that next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, which are virtual days, I'll post. I'll be there. I'll be available during class times, and I will probably also have some times for virtual office hours. But Monday, I'll be over at OVU. That'll be a normal day. Thursday, the 26th, will not be a normal day. So it's highly likely that what I will do is next Friday, I may just simply have to come back to Shawnee, or I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But for all of you in 1123 section A, I'm sorry, but nobody's missing anything. I give you the same spiel that I do with the other section. And I am taking an extraordinary amount of time to give you a chance to do your work. And every time I come on and do one of these, explain what's up, what I want you to do, give you some insights and where to find things. All right, I'm going to sign off here, and I'll post this over in the announcements section. And then I need to check my mail from school before I get ready to head out of here and go to my appointment. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing your work.